Well, you may remember just a little while back, I think a day or two ago, Collider had that report that Lucasfilm was holding off on all spin-off standalone movies in light of Solo's box office performance. The reasoning was, since the very first standalone Star Wars movie ever made, Solo, bombed hard at the box office, that was causing the studio to reassess their plans and just postpone or cancel all the other ones. But Lucasfilm is firing back saying that's not true. And here I'm on the Hollywood Reporter. The headline of this article is Lucasfilm is licking their wounds, but they're not halting Star Wars development. Let's read what it says. The box office returns of Solo: A Star Wars Story are a wake-up call for the studio to make and market upcoming films differently, sources say. Disney and Lucasfilm are reassessing their plans for future Star Wars movies in the wake of the disappointing performance of Solo: A Star Wars Story, which is having to fight to make much more than $350 million worldwide. They haven't slowed down development, but they are licking their wounds. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy and her team are regrouping and figuring out the direction of the movies beyond the final installment of the main series of films, Star Wars Episode 9, which is scheduled for release December 20th, 2019. Now about Kathleen Kennedy, if you know, maybe you haven't noticed, she's been really silent. She hasn't said much of anything to the press or any statements since The Last Jedi came out. When she first got the job as the caretaker, the overseer of the entire Star Wars franchise, she was giving all kinds of interviews. She was coming out on all kinds of events. She was on like all these carpets and stuff. But she has been laying low, which makes me think, something's going on back there. Now, there are rumors that she's out, but those are rumors. Going to step down in September. I don't know. But I do think that the fact that she's scaling back and being completely silent and like not giving interviews to talk about, fan unhappiness or the low box office performance, I know that kind of speaks a lot. So I'm wondering, what that silence means. It's probably not going very well for her behind the scenes right now. But let's get back to the article, going back to these spin-offs, which apparently, according to Lucasfilm, are still happening. It doesn't mean those spin-offs don't happen. It just means they're trying to figure out how to make and market them differently. And then it talks about the Boba Fett spin-off, how they do plan apparently on still making it, but they're probably going to keep the budget down really small because the last big budget standalone movie, Solo, they spent, a lot of money on that, and that is probably not going to make that money back. So the reasoning is, I guess, we can make these spin-off movies, but just keep the budgets low, which in my opinion makes sense. And they might think about how to market them because they aren't really sure that standalone movies are really that attractive to Star Wars fans, not the way the major tentpole ones are. And then they talk about the Obi-Wan movie, how they're unclear what's going to go on with the Obi-Wan movie, especially since Ewan McGregor, he was rumored to be in that movie, but he's filming something else right now. Dr. Sleep, which is connected to it's like a spin-off or a sequel to The Shining, that famous, Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson horror movie. So if he's doing that, he can't do an Obi-Wan movie at the same time. And of course, sequel hopes for Solo: A Star Wars Story, those are kaput. Certainly hopes for a Solo sequel have been dashed, and any ideas of exploring the subsection that fans call the Star Wars underworld may also be dashed, even if only temporarily. Solo teed up opportunities for characters such as Lando Calrissian and Darth Maul, who both appeared in the film, to become central characters in sequels or spin-offs. And let's go to the end of the article. But beyond Episode 9, no release dates have been announced for future films, a move out of step with current trends as studios, Disney included, plant flags for franchise releases years in advance. In light of the reaction to The Last Jedi and performance of Solo, they are now just going to look at what's coming and seeing how good it is before dating anything. It's all pretty understandable. And I think all of this is good for them to do. I think that studios like DC and Star Wars and even Marvel need to stop, planting tents, 3 or 4 years in advance for movies. It's like, just wait. See how the stuff you're doing right now is working out before you do all this stuff. You might have to readjust plans, which Star Wars is learning now, a lesson they're learning, and DC, I think, has learned it too, because Walter Hamada said in an interview he's going to stop, he wants to stop announcing all these movies far off in advance and focus on the ones being made. We'll see if he sticks to that, but I think that's what he said. And I think it's a good thing for Star Wars to do that too. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.